I think you wait.
Hi, Saporah. Believe
Hi.
it or not, I kicked myself out of the studio. Uh, Today, I'm very happy to welcome Saporah Luna Bonnette, a great newcomer in the acting, and she done a lot of interesting stuff in the horror genre business. Hi, Saporah. How is everything?
Hi, it's nice to meet you. It has
You
been.
great. Before I ask you about the new releases, because I read about your new films, and they are online right now. I want to ask you about your interest into acting and art. How did it start with you?
Well, it was very interesting. For me, my dad has always been very theatrical when I was growing up as a child. And I remember him always playing games with me where we'd always like pick a different character to be. One of our favorite movies was Lord of the Rings, so that was a lot that he used to do.
Mm-hmm,
And so when I was
mm-hmm,
approached by the director when he had booked a stay at my family resort, he had asked if I'm interested in like he just kind of connected with me. I work with animals, and he found it very interesting my work with animals. And later, I had gotten an email about a part, and I found myself very excited at the chance to be able to act out and kind of like relive my childhood with my father to like really bring forth a new character, kind of like I used to watch him do all the time.
mm-hmm. So, what kind of animal you like?
So the animal that I take care of is a swan. So I very
Mm-hmm.
much like birds. Um,
Yes,
yeah.
yes, you like swans. Very nice. So, you were talking about the director of Case of a Vampire, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so tell me, what interested you in the script and the character you played? And I've seen you didn't get any acting training before it, right? He had faith in you after knowing you, right? The director of the
Hmm.
film. So tell me about your interest into the role and how did you prepare it and how was it to to put in this film and your character as well.
To be the character in the Kiss of the Vampire film.
Yes, yes.
So that was very different from Monster Grizzly. After reading the script, I was a little bit like shocked at the content.
Really?
It's much different
Uh-huh.
um, from Monster Grizzly. It was more erotic, but also there was a undertone to it that was sensual, but also adventurous and thrilling at the same time. So I found my attention to be piqued at such a mixture of sensations when acting. So I was surprised, but I was more surprised on how I actually moved into the role quite easily and with a
Mm-hmm.
lot of excitement at
Mm-hmm.
playing this character.
Yes. Did you watch any vampire film to prepare for the role before?
I had not, but I do know of one film that was always a favorite of mine, which I'm sure everyone knows, which is The Interview with a Vampire. That was a
With Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt.
yes.
Yes, yes, yes. It was quite different from vampire films. If you seen early vampire films, black and white,
Hmm.
with Bela Lugosi and then with Christopher Lee. The story of Dracula has been made a lot of time, and Nosferatu recently had a remake, been done two times before. You notice as well the relationship of Dracula or vampire with women, and he has mistress and stuff like that. Did you feel any challenges, filming the love scenes, or you believe it's part of the character and of the narrative of the film?
Well, that's a very interesting question. So, yeah, in the character herself, like knowing that her husband in the film had mistresses and other encounters, you can see the jealousy and the internal battle that the character had with the situation of having a husband that you just didn't think there was something quite right with him. He could be cheating, but what you saw was definitely not just cheating. And so when you are the actor going through the scenes, you become the character in a sense, but you are also having to play on the emotions that are invoked between the two characters. So it's really interesting where you actually separate yourself from your real self, like your everyday person and persona, to the person that you are becoming to act forth. And I find it, goodness, it's hard to explain, but I know the feeling of this, like, it was difficult. It is very difficult, I'll admit, to have to go through that scene, but you end up putting on a character to get into those scenes, to be able to act with someone that you do not know very closely, to act as if you know each other so closely. And there is definite separation from myself personally in the character that is just, it's very interesting to enact, I'd have to say. I hope that answers your question.
Sure. Tell me, people start to recognize you from the two films right now?
Actually, yes. Like in my town that I have been in, there's been some people that are like, "Hey, wait, I remember you," because we had and Monster Grizzly used a few places around where we had shot the movie, and we used a couple places that were in the area, so they felt really happy to be in a movie and to have their locations used. So a little bit here and there.
Yes. Tell me, do you like to there are a lot of actresses when they began, they start to call it scream queen because they appeared in a lot of horror films, or they appeared as a victim of a monster or a vampire chasing them, like Jamie Lee Curtis when she did the first Halloween, you know, and Janet Leigh, of course, in Psycho and stuff like her mother. So I want to ask you: do you like to focus on the horror genre, or do you like to venture into other film genres?
I would honestly love to venture into other film genres. It's
Mm-hmm.
variety. And so the variety of playing these different characters is very interesting. I know that more of my curiosity lies in adventure and kind of action. Um,
Uh-huh.
like our
Mm-hmm.
favorite films back then were Lord of the Rings films. So I've always loved the thought of being in something like that. But it was a definite
Mm-hmm.
reach of like how comfortable I was to put myself in certain situations, such as like in Vampire, that's very different. But I kind of like the variety. It's a challenge, but it's a challenge that I like to overcome.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that Kiss of a Vampire could have a sequel in the future?
Hmm. You know, I feel like it could. It could.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes, yeah, because usually in horror and science fiction films, nobody dies. They find always a way to be for him or for her to be resurrected.
Mhm.
So, especially vampires,
Mhm.
Tell me, when you started to act, did you have like a role model of an actor or an actress you like to become in the future? Especially that you spoke about action, and many women actresses in the last, the 2 decades, like Angelina Jolie did the very good action films. It's not male or man oriented anymore, I think.
Mm. Okay. People I had like, I really enjoyed, especially in
Hmm.
for Vendetta, Natalie Portman's, presentation and acting. I really enjoyed also in the Lord of the Rings series, Arwen, the character Arwen,
Yes.
how she was also soft, but like a warrior in her own way. So those are two characters, I feel like I really looked up to as females in acting movies. So yeah.
Hmm. Yes. Yes. I want to ask you right now. I think, uh, like yourself, becoming an actress and co-starring in films right now online. Right now, I noticed that movies, even if they go to theaters, they go online very fast, maybe in a week or 10 days, something like that. Yeah. Some films, they have a limited release, so I think it's easier now to get roles in films, right?
Hmm. I've heard that there's been some difficulties, but it's
Hmm.
still seen, I would say.
Hmm. Yes, but because I see right now a lot of even the big stars right now are doing television movies and television series, and before there was a big gap between cinema and television, but right now, because yeah, I know the online, like 2B, and the paid ones as well, even on YouTube as well, a lot of films come right now easier, you know and I think, your generation right now, for them, I think it's easier to be cast in films, and the film can get more recognition. I mean, people can watch immediately because of the Vampire and Monster Grizzly. They don't need to wait until it arrives in their countries, because Tubi as well is everywhere. Tubi TV, like YouTube and Netflix.
Mm-hmm. It's
Yes.
becoming more easy accessible than it used to when you have to wait for it to release in
Yes.
theaters. I remember as a kid, you'd see it will be released in theaters at a certain date.
Yes, only in theaters. Yes. Tell me,
Only
do you have a certain dream character or a dream role you like to play in the future? Maybe a novel you read, maybe a comic book you read, something you like to play in the future.
Oh goodness. Not sure about a comic book, but I know
Hmm.
you had mentioned before, the big, like, let's see. It's interesting. I've always liked, I just, what kind of film? Well, mostly as I had said before, like the era and just the feel of like back then when magic was existing, like in Lord of the Rings when they had like the elves and the
Yes.
axes and the swords and the, arrows and that magic and that just
Hmm.
heroic way of battling evil versus good. I always just found that to be something I really like. I
Hmm.
like the characters, the spiciness, the sassiness, but then also like having a strong point. It's fun.
Yeah, yes, like Game of Thrones and the swords, and they used to call the genre in the 60s swords and sandals, because it was very productive period. They used to shoot, films, not related typically to history, like the son of Spartacus and Cleopatra's daughter, stuff like that, and they used to show that where I come from the Middle East and in Egypt, and they used to hire, a lot of bodybuilders, and of course, many of them, like Arnold Schwarzenegger, later in the 80s, did Conan and became a star, you know. But before Conan as well, he did a movie called Hercules Goes to New York, before Conan, the Barbarian. But tell me, you are athlete yourself. Do you like to? I mean, if an action role comes, you will do preparation, or you feel yourself ready to go to action and do your own stunts.
Oh, could you repeat that question?
I was telling you, if an action role comes to you in the future, you feel like you be ready. You like to do your own stunts, or you'll need to prepare in the gym and build some muscles.
That's a good question. I've always liked taking care of my health, and I would
Mhm.
actually like to more so if I especially had a role that had played in that, I would like find it to be very rewarding to go into the gym and to especially prepare for these roles.
Mhm.
I've seen some things where people are like preparing for Lord of the Rings and they're carrying a weight and some big weighted thing to pretend like it's a shield and a staff, and they're like
Yes.
probably being funny working out, but it's like actual training, probably how they used to do it back then. So yeah, I would
Mhm.
actually put in the work to want to try to prepare my own stunts. Maybe not backflips or front flips, but other things like scenes and fighting I could possibly do. I'd like to do.
Yes. Yes. Tell me, did you read any feedback about the two films, or particularly about your work in it? That made you motivated to do more films after Monster Grizzly and Kiss of the Vampire.
I have definitely I don't remember if I've read it exactly, but I've heard some like all good things at least from my family and things like that. For myself personally, when I look at the films, I know
Mhm.
that there was a shyness to me as well, being my like the newer like this new world that I stepped into. And for myself personally, I would like to actually bring out more character and become more of the
Uh-huh.
character and
Yes.
more comfortable in my role. So that for me personally, I would want to step out of my comfort zone and stop being like feeling very shy or feeling like
Hmm.
you fit into a box, but become the character and have the art form in itself to create the character that I find almost like a painting that you do yourself. So that's
Hmm.
what I want to do more in future films.
I want to ask you, does Saporah, your name, has a meaning in a certain language or culture?
So yes, it's a very interesting story. My mom and like she had loved the Prince of Egypt movie, and she had loved
Yes.
the name Zipporah, which is Moses's wife, but she had once thought it said Saporah, so she named
Hmm.
me after Moses's wife for my name,
Very
and
nice.
yeah, I
I'm
think.
from Egypt, by the way. I'm from Egypt. I don't remember the name Saporah. I should have known. Yes, and I accidentally worked in Universal and DreamWorks distribution when Prince of Egypt. It is the animation film with Val Kilmer, right, as Moses. When it was new, I was in distribution of American film in Egypt. And of course. It was a very beautiful animated film, about Moses, of course. It was
Mhm,
very nice that your mom loved Egyptian culture and pharaohs as well.
mhm. Yes, it was.
Yes. Tell me, do you have a new project you are working on, or you are right now promoting the new film?
Let's see. There has been a
Or
thought.
still, it is a secret?
Well, it's been spoken of, like you could say, on the wind,
Hmm.
perhaps a sequel of one of the two movies, if not both.
Sure, sure.
We'll see.
We will see. Yes, yes. Sapora, I want to thank you very much for the interview, and thank to Michael as well for coordinating this. And I've seen the press releases. It's very nice that you're promoting yourself on the news wire groups. Very interesting, and I wish you all the best for getting feedback about the two films and also about your upcoming projects. And I hope when they are, ready, you can come back and speak to them with us here.
You're most welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. Enjoy the rest of the afternoon, and best wishes from myself and all the viewers.
Best wishes to you as well. Thank you for this gift.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye.